inadvertently, I know the representative that offered the amendment, they were trying to fix something else. He inadvertently had that where it changed it. It wasn't clear when you look at the language that it changed it. And so it was changed. The House missed it, the Senate missed it, the governor missed it. It wasn't until later on that they realized, hey, we messed up, we need to fix it. They were afraid to deal with it. I was not afraid to deal with it. I co-authored the bill to fix it. In fact, I know something about it because I did the research on it. It had been, and it's only for illegal voting, it's not for other fraud and so forth. It's only for the charge of illegal voting. It had been a second-degree felony since 2011, and prior to that, it was even a third-degree felony back when the law was created back in 1986. I have the fix to it. It's a simple fix, and frankly, there shouldn't be a dispute. There are a number of other things. I think election security is very important, and we're going to see that probably in the next few weeks. There are a few other things that need to be done as a fix. Anytime you have a major overhaul of something, you're going to have some things that need to be tweaked and fixed. I'm aware of a few of those things. I certainly am ready, willing, and able to get back to work. We have to have safe elections. We have to have secure elections. We have to have elections that are uniform for everyone and not have Harris County and some of these other urban counties doing something completely different. What they did is wrong, it's improper, and they took advantage of the situation. Some of the things that they claimed was the law was not the law, it's never been the law. So I'm willing to work to fix not only the issue we got here, but everything dealing with election security.
Thank you. Colonel Franklin, question you have?
Introduce the legislation to change it back to a felony and stand on the necks of the people in committee until it gets to the floor, and then the Republican majority in the House and the Republican majority in the Texas State Senate can turn it back into law, and whoever is occupying the governor's mansion at that time can sign it, problem resolved. Because if you don't have election security, we don't have a republic anymore. If you can't trust that the person you were voting for is going to end up in office at the end of the day, then why bother? I have no earthly idea. He's claiming it was a simple mistake. I would say perhaps we need to elect legislators with a little bit better attention to detail.
Thank you. Mr. Middleton?
Well, first off, Austin has to be purged of all of the establishment rhinos that are there from the top of the board. One of the biggest problems in the House of Representatives is Dave Phelan. He put Democrats in charge of most of the committees and all of the important committees. That has to stop. This right here really wasn't that big of an accident. It was another backroom deal that caused it to get brought down from felonies down to misdemeanors. They had an opportunity to fix it 4 times, and it didn't get fixed. And until the establishment changes, it's not going to get fixed. It's going to stay the same because the establishment's not going to let it come up for a vote. No matter who puts the bills in, how many times bills are introduced, they're going to get shut down. Because the Texas for Lawsuit Reform and Dave Phelan are not going to allow it to happen. So, first off, we purge all of that. We purge the establishment out of Austin. And then we just introduce a simple bill. It's a felony to cheat on the elections. Because if we don't have elections that we can trust, it's the same thing that happened 2 years ago, or last year. If we can't trust the election, we don't have a republic, just like what Gary was saying. We don't have a republic anymore. We have a banana republic. Because ultimately, it's not who votes that counts, it's who counts the votes. So we have to make sure that our elections are absolutely 100% secure. Also, did you know in the state constitution it says that ballots have to be sequentially numbered? If you're using a machine, they're not sequentially numbered. We need to change that and get these stupid voting machines out of here, because that's just opening up opportunities for misuse. So, those are my ideas, those are my thoughts on it. Thank y'all.
Thank you. The fourth question will go first to Colonel Franklin. What is your opinion of local government utilizing local tax dollars to fund lobbying in Austin?
You know, I don't like the idea of having to spend a bunch of money for lobbying anyway. But when it comes to local, and I'm talking about small governments like the city of Eastland, or the city of Cisco, or Palo Pinto County, how can they get their voice heard by the legislators in Austin when they're competing against people like the Texas Municipal League in the city of Houston, or the city of Dallas, and the city of El Paso? The whole problem is the system is designed to deny access to your rural and smaller cities, and I don't have a quick and easy fix. Obviously, I don't like to see tax money used to lobby, but we know it is. So, a city should be able to use whatever funds that city elects to use for whatever purpose it elects to use it. It gets back to that freedom and liberty type thing. But can you imagine an Austin with no lobbyists, where people actually went down and actually represented their community's best interests and fought it out? You know, by now you've probably figured out I'm not the politician in this race. I'm more of the bull in the china shop. But I can be your bull in the china shop.
Thank you. Mr. Middleton?
Well, there's actually two bulls in the china shop here. This is absolutely appalling. And it's been on the Texas Republican Party's platform for years. And every year politicians claim, we're going to go fix that. And every year they don't. Because the establishment has to change in Austin. And the only way it's going to change is for people to finally get sick and tired enough to stand up and start fighting against the establishment and getting these clowns out of office. Because they had several opportunities this year again to stop this, and they don't. All it is a big organized legal grifting operation to where you pay your taxes to your county, to your city, everywhere else. They end up giving some of that to lobbyists. Lobbyists run right down to Austin and give it right to the politicians. The politicians put it in their pocket for their re-election fund. And then they come home and they talk about how horrible the process is and how ugly it is and it needs to stop. But nothing's actually ever going to get done because we keep electing politicians to go to Austin, and they become part of the swamp, part of the establishment, and they keep doing the same thing over and over. It's the definition of insanity for us. So we're going to have to change what we do as voters and put actual conservatives in there that are going to go down there and fight this kind of mess and stop it. So anyway, that's another reason why I'm running, is because it's one of the ridiculous things that I see going on that never ever gets fixed. Almost 20 years, the Republican Party platform in Texas has not changed. It's still the same. There's been a few issues worked on, but nothing's actually got fixed because they don't want to. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Stone?
Yes, here's the problem. The problem is that we're trying to address here is that many of these urban areas, bigger cities, bigger counties, not folks that are out in this district, but in urban areas, are spending vast amounts of money and they're funneling it to Democrat candidates. That is the main problem. That is the problem that we're trying to stop with banning taxpayer-funded lobbying. I'm in favor of stopping that. Most Republicans are in favor of stopping that. There have been tremendous abuses, and that needs to stop. However, what you need to understand is that it is not just that. It is also an urban versus a rural issue, because these bigger cities get around this. Because what they do, they've got enough money, enough tax revenue, where they hire their own in-house people who are now their own employees, they're paying a whole lot more money than anyone else, and they're putting them up in Austin, and they have a full-time staff. So this does not affect those that are trying to get around it. We need to address the problem. I have a bill that I signed off on that didn't get passed, and it didn't. I wanted it to get passed, and we need something that's fair to rural Texas, that's fair to House District 68, that's fair to you, because your voices need to be heard. Yes, I encourage folks to come to Austin, and now you can do it remotely and testify. You can do it online. You can do whatever you, and I'll be happy to work with you so that your voices get heard. You call me, your voice will be heard. I will be your advocate. But some of the abuses going on have to be stopped, and I'm certainly in favor of stopping those abuses, and I will work to continue to do that to the best of my ability. Thank you.
Okay, the final question to the House District 68 rep candidates. All state and local government bodies pass the buck, if you will, on property tax escalation. Do you believe property tax is an issue for residents? And if so, what will you do to lower property taxes?
This is actually one of my biggest platform issues, is property taxes. The last two sessions in Austin have been introduced House Bill 117. House Bill 117 is a ban on property taxes, but it also stops sales tax, as well as about 60 other taxes that are generally what we call hidden taxes, kind of your car registration, things like that. And HB 117, 117.25% sales tax. The state sales tax is 6.25%, plus what the city adds on to it, another 2%. If you have transit, blah, blah, blah. It comes up to about 8.25%, should be what y'all are paying here. And so this bill will get rid of that. And it will get rid of all property taxes, including school district taxes. Because it's a consumption tax. You think, how much? Is it 15, 20, 30%? No, it's less than 10%. Will actually raise, it's over $1 million more than what the state needs to fund each year. All of the counties will still get funded at their current level. All of the school districts will still get funded at their current level. And the great thing is the House of Representatives and the Senate cannot come together and say, we need to raise taxes, and then raise taxes. They can't do that because built into the law is a public referendum on raising taxes. So all of you get to decide if you want to raise taxes. The problem is the establishment in Austin does not want this to pass. They want to do things like get rid of M&O tax on your property tax and then do a VAT tax or a consumption tax on that. That's great, but all they're going to do is roll what they're already collecting in M&O tax into the regular another line item, because we passed Proposition 2 this last November. Proposition 2 allows the counties to hide money in different areas. So anyway, my time's up.
Thank you. Mr. Stone.
Thank you. The House and the Senate passed some property tax reform, $200 million worth. I'm not going to stand up here and tell you I'm proud of that. I want significant property tax reduction. One of the things when you're a state representative is if you do it right, you listen to your constituents. And I have listened loud and clear for my people and understand that we need some significant property tax reduction. I have co-authored a bill, House Bill 91 in the last session, worked with Representative Andy Murr. And it eliminates school district M&O taxes and replace that with a consumption tax, which is a combination of value-added sales tax and an excise tax. That most everybody in the state pays more school taxes than anything else, and so that's what this does. And I support that. I would certainly support that. I would try to get it done. And truly, I think we've gotten more support lately, and I think that we will have enough votes to get that done. And I want to work hard to get it done. I will say this with regard to this House Bill 117. With all due respect, that's not what it does. That bill does the same thing that my bill does. Frankly, I think my bill is a little bit better, but it does not eliminate all property tax. That is not what it does. And if anyone wants to see it or read a copy of it, I have a copy of it in the foyer out there with my materials. It does the same thing where it eliminates M&O taxes, but it does not do away with city taxes, county taxes, hospital district taxes, special utility district taxes. It doesn't do any of that. But it's not a bad bill. I know the author, James White. I talked to him today about it. I visited with him about the bill. So I know what it does. I've read the bill. I understand the bill. I've not seen a bill that completely eliminates property tax in Texas. That has not been filed. But I'm committed to working with folks in Austin. I know the people with the Texas Public Policy Foundation and other people that are working on that I've worked with in the past. And they will have a plan to try to completely eliminate property taxes in Texas. It's a major issue,
Thank you.
and I'm going to take care of it. Sorry.
Your time's up. Final question.
Well, at the risk of being somewhat unpopular, I'll go ahead and tell you the truth, or the truth as I see it. When I went into this, I said, I'm not going to change my opinions or my beliefs and just spit them out and let the chips fall where they may. My parents were children of the Depression. If it was not broke, you didn't try to fix it. If it was broken but repairable, you didn't throw it in the trash can. And that's kind of what I think about the current system of taxation. The combination of sales tax with an ad valorem property tax is okay. But we have to be very careful about indexing the tax rates to the value of the property. If your house doubles in value, well, then they can cut the property tax rate in half so that you're still paying the same amount of tax, but you're still paying that tax. I'm leery of any kind of value added or excise tax because I don't want anything new coming in, and there's always a law of unintended consequences. When anybody in state government tells me we've got something new and revolutionary, and if we will just do this, everything will be lovely, I'm a little bit suspicious. So I think we need to carefully monitor and adjust as necessary the property tax rates and leave the sales tax alone.
Thank you. We will now have closing statements. First up is Mr. Spiller. 1 minute.
Thank you. Here's what you need to know. We had the most conservative legislative session in the history of the state of Texas. There were a lot of good things that we got passed. I don't have enough time in 1 minute to go through them all. But there were also some things that we didn't get passed. What you need to know is that those things that didn't get passed, I want them to pass. I will work hard to continue. I was an author or a co-author to every single one of those legislative Republican priorities that did not pass. I want to get them passed. I'm committed to get them passed. I came in later than anyone in the Texas House. I was sworn in on March the 9th. But I worked harder and faster than anyone, and we were able to pass a great amount. And so I want to go back. I want to finish the job. I want to get done the things that are important to the people of House District 68. You need to know I'm accessible. If you call me, I will answer the phone. I will call you back. If you text me, I will text you back. If you email me, follow me on Representative David Spiller, and I will reply if you respond to me. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next is Colonel Franklin with closing remark, 1 minute.
We don't pay legislators a whole lot. It's about $600 a month, $7,200 a year. I wasn't making it prior to now. We will see if I'm making it after the election and people are sworn in. But you know, since I wasn't making it, I won't ever miss it. So if I am elected, I will pledge the $600 a month salary for 2 years to a scholarship fund to go towards school kids from the 68th House District. I won't pick the winners myself. I'll set up some kind of committee with some school superintendents or a newspaper publisher, so it's fair. And it won't be a whole lot of money. But the future of Texas is the school children of Texas. And if I can do a little bit towards helping somebody out, I still believe in our future. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Middleton. You will close us out tonight in this session.
Well, I will say that Gary is definitely right that none of us are doing this for the money. So, I think it actually costs money to go down here. So, we've got to change the course of Texas. And the only way we're going to change that is by electing strong conservatives that are actually willing to stand in the gap, that are willing to keep all of the lobbyists at arm's length, to turn them away, and only listen to the members in their district. That is what I'm here to do. I answer to you. I do not answer to the lobbyists. I do not answer to the establishment in Austin. I could care less what those guys down there are thinking, because they feeling has to go. And until we get strong conservatives in there that are actually going to vote him out of Speaker of the House, Texas is not going to get better. All of the bills that all of us have pipe dreams about passing, none of them are going to get there if we don't get rid of him. Anyway, Mark Middleton, please vote for me. I'll be out there here in a few minutes. Thank y'all.
We would like to thank all three of you for coming tonight and being part of this. Thank you for answering questions and putting up with us. Thank y'all, and then next time y'all can be dismissed, and we're going to ask the county clerk candidates to come up and talk with Mr. Hayes and Mr. White. At this time, we will ask Mrs. Ruth York to come up and give the Bible for Cathy Jentho.
So I'm honored to read Cathy's bio. She says, I'm an Eastland County native and was born in Gorman, Texas. My parents were Freddie and Bert House. I am married to Guest, and we have two children, Daniel, who is 30 years old, and Hope, who is 25 years old. Daniel is an executive chef at a Marriott Courtyard in Austin, Texas. He is married to Cheryl, and they have a daughter named Jade. Hope helps out with her husband, Dylan, with their business located in Cisco, Texas, and take care of their son, Weston. I attended Eastland schools and graduated from Eastland High School in 1986. I received a salesperson license at the George Leonard School of Real Estate. Currently, I'm serving my fourth term year as area director. I was nominated as County Clerk of the Year in 2020 by our association. I received a certificate of course completion in the Texas Association of Counties Leadership 254 program and the National Association of Counties Professional Development Service President, first and second vice president. I have served on the Eastland Clubhouse Board, serving as board member for 4 years, then terms as president in 2004 to 5 and 2005 to 6, and currently serving in that position. I have served as food chairman for Teen Community Bible Study. I am a member of the River of Life Church in Eastland. I currently serve on the hospitality and kitchen committees, help at the food pantry, and have led small groups. My work history includes bakery, deli manager at Clerk. I began my service to the citizens of Eastland County as a part-time employee in the county clerk's office in 1985. I became a full-time employee in 1986 and then chief deputy county clerk in 1989. In 1998, I was elected Eastland County Clerk and re-elected in 2002, 2006, 2 years as a deputy clerk, chief deputy county clerk, and as your county clerk. I continue to believe that we should preserve our history and prepare for the future while continuing to give the citizens of Eastland County the very best service possible.
Next, I would ask that Beth Maynard come in to introduce Darlene Maynard-Perrin.
Okay, this is Darlene's resume, basically. My name is Joni Darlene Maynard-Perrin. I am an Eastland County native that was born to Gary and Jetty Dugan Maynard in Rising Star, Texas. I am running for county clerk to bring years of experience, knowledge, and hard work from around the globe to benefit our residents of Eastland County. Being raised on a hot, dry peanut farm outside of Rising Star, I learned to work hard and never give up. In addition to my strong work ethic, my parents taught me the importance of treating other people as I would like to be treated. I graduated from high school in Rising Star and in later years achieved a Bachelor of Administration from the University of Phoenix. While finishing high school, I worked at the local nursing home as a dishwasher, nurse's aide, and then as activities director. My caregiving skills didn't stop there. I moved to Abilene and went to work at Abilene State School and later became an MHMR foster parent. This was a very rewarding chapter in our lives, getting to provide a safe environment for MHMR children. In 1994, my husband was transferred to the United Kingdom. During our 4 years stationed at Mendenhall Air Force Base, my career path took me into negotiating commercial contracts for the military through Tcole and the Department of Defense. This opportunity allowed me to work in Washington, D.C., Crete, Germany, Italy, and Turkey. In 1998, the West was calling us to Tucson, Arizona. I went to work with a large company as the sales and marketing director for a 5-diamond golf resort. During this time, I sat on GTEX, Greater Tucson's Economic Council. GTEC was dedicated to preserving the integrity of downtown Tucson's history while moving it forward for growth using innovative technology. The day came when it was time for us to return home, Texas. My resume would continue to grow, and I would give every opportunity 100%. Lowe's Home Improvement was my home for the next 7 years. As their human resource manager, I was a business partner with the store manager. We would set budgets and goals for each department in hiring, orientations, training, bonuses, incentives, and meetings. It was my job to implement each part of the budget and goals by hiring the correct manager to be successful. When God gave my husband and I an opportunity to move back to Eastland County, we jumped at the chance. Higginbotham needed a custom service associate, so I gladly accepted the task. With all of our kids grown, we began renovations on his home place. This home place has been in the Perrin family for over 100 years, and we wanted to preserve the legacy. I currently work with the Eastland County Appraisal District as the customer service coordinator. In the appraisal district, we work with existing residents, new residents, and hopeful residents of our county as they need documents old and new. As your county clerk, I will also work to provide good and old-fashioned customer service, as well as utilizing the technology to let all people have access to the records they need. Thank y'all.
Okay, you'll have 1 minute for opening statements. Mrs. Perrin, now I didn't get how y'all want to be addressed, it's going to be Ms. Jentho, Ms. Perrin, unless y'all tell me to do it without name. Can't do that. Okay, we'll go with that. First, opening statement, it will be from Ms. Perrin, 1 minute.
Well, I always said it took 18 years to get away, but 30 to get back. In the years that I was gone, I was able to acquire a lot of knowledge, skills, and experience that I know I'll bring to this position. Oh. Is it on? Okay. Sorry. All the way from living in England to Tucson, Arizona. In England, the history that they preserved was their future. In Tucson, the technology giants were always there, and they were always improving on how to keep the records, to preserve and access, and to maintain those records. I believe in the world of technology, websites can be safe, secure, and easy to access. And I believe that they can be.
Time. Thank you. Ms. Jentho, we'll have 1 minute.
Okay, I'm on, good. Yes, I'm Cathy Jentho, and I currently serve as your Eastland County Clerk. I was, worked in the office first as a deputy clerk, part-time in 1985. And then in 1986, I went to full-time, and then achieved the title of Chief Deputy Clerk. And then my predecessor retired, and then in 1998, I chose to run. God has blessed me in many ways, and with being reelected. And I would appreciate your vote in the Republican primary on March the 1st.
Thank you very much. Okay. We will now begin with questions. Ms. Jentho, you will be first. We have 5 questions for this slate of candidates as well. Ms. Jentho, what are your greatest accomplishments as county clerk, and how would you improve the office?
My greatest accomplishments are making sure that all of the current land indexes or real estate indexes, the vital records are secure and they are on backup. So if something was, heaven forbid, happened to the office or the building, we could be able to start back up off of the backup that we have. The indexes to the land records have been done. Our vital records have been done. So that is one of my greatest accomplishments there, as well as bringing things into technology. As soon as I went into the office, we brought in computer. We have since then going online to help people do the self-service that they need. They can sit in the leisure of their own home, their residence, apply for a marriage license, get a birth certificate, death certificate, military discharge records. We have provided that for our citizens. We still like them to come in because we like to look at them in the face. We like to show our records off and our accomplishments. I have a staff that is outstanding. They know it frontwards and backwards. So we like for them to come in. We like to show them what's going on in the office, make them feel welcomed. And most of all, the joy comes from helping them figure out, we've got A to Z. How do we get there? We're missing some points in our land records. We need to clear up our title. We love helping them get that established and seeing the relief on their face, the excitement on their face, and most of all, it puts joy in our hearts.
Thank you. Kind of the same question as Perrin, but worded a little differently, of course. If elected, what are your goals as county clerk, and what changes do you envision for the office?
Well, if I were your county clerk, that's exactly the #1 priority, is making sure that all of the records are preserved. Learning that from when I was in England, your history is what's going to move you forward. So you have to make sure that they're housed in a good, safe environment. God forbid, say the courthouse were to catch on fire. We need to make sure that those records are easily accessed, brought back into play, so we don't miss a beat for our county. And coming from where the technology world, we didn't run a 5-diamond golf resort via paper. So we know how important it is to have good technology, so all records are preserved, all records are easily accessible. So that would be some of my first steps, to go in and make sure that all of those are done. Also, good old-fashioned, let's roll up our sleeve, customer service is key, because we are the face of Eastland County. When people come in, if they want to be residents of Eastland County, a lot of the times the county clerk office is one of their first stops. So you want to make sure that every time they're met with a smile. Every time that they come back, they get that constant, I'm here to help you feeling.
Thank you. Ms. Perrin, you will be up first this time. The next question is, what is the most important service the county clerk office provides to the taxpayers of Eastland County?
Information. Anytime you go to the county clerk, you're there for a reason. You're there to get information on birth certificates or marriage license or real estate. You're there to find your warranty deed, maybe for researching back history where a family farm came from, for instance. So in my mind, the county clerk's office has the backbone, hinges on the information that it offers to everyone who's here and who's coming. It also it is, from my understanding and from reading the job description, sitting in the commissioner's courts, being accessible, having the knowledge of the statutes and all of the local laws that's going to come back in, and getting all of those filed so you can be there for your commissioners and you can be there for the judges. We are the keepers of the records. So any records that come in or go out, you have to know and be accessible for those people to get those.
Thank you. Mrs. Jentho, same question.
Well, this is a little bit difficult because we as county clerks wear so many different hats. They're all very important. But if I had to single one out, it is to make sure that every record is continued to be preserved, backed up. Make sure the records are correct. Keying in information is very vital. We handle criminal courts. And when you're reporting something into someone's life history in DPS database, it is very important to get that right. You can't assume it. You have to go factual. You have to read the judgments that are prepared by the district attorney's office very carefully. So I would say everything that we do is very important. I think make sure that real estate records are recorded, backed up, because you've got to start buying property. That is a key to a lot of young families, older families, people that are wanting to buy and renovate, because that's the big deal right now. Customer service. I have always been customer service. You need to be greeted because we all, on the other hand, when we go into an office or Walmart or somewhere, we like to be greeted with a smile and saying, we're here for you, we'll be with you in just a second. If for some reason while we're busy, we say, we recognize them and we say, we'll be with you in just a second. But everything that we do in my office is very, very important service.
Thank you. The third question, Ms. Jentho, you will begin. Why do you seek another term as county clerk?
Okay, simply because I enjoy doing what I do. I love the people, I love the atmosphere, I love the whole office. I love being able to work on committees with our association. I work very closely with Office of Court Administration on several details rolling out CMS, which is Court Management Systems. Work very close with them because they come to the rural counties, and I stepped up because rural counties so many times get left out. So I'm seeking another term because I feel like I still have a lot more to offer here, and I want to make Eastland County a place where people come and can be proud of what is going on.
Thank you. Ms. Perrin, why do you want to be the county clerk?
I want to be your county clerk, for many reasons. I think that living where I've lived, the experience that I have had, I can bring it back to Eastland County. Eastland County has always been my home. It is where I learned on that hot, dry peanut farm to work hard, to give it all I got. And I feel that in knowing that, I can give that back to Eastland County. And in doing that, living around the globe, working, I can come to Eastland County, know how important it is to preserve the history, know how important it is to serve each and every one of you, even the people in bordering counties that come and need information. I feel that the county clerk position is a place where people, it's the first call for so many people. Okay, well, if I need a deed, I know the county clerks will have it. So I feel that with my background of customer service, my background of sales and marketing for organization, I feel that when I become your county clerk, I can give that back tenfold.
Thank you. The next question, Ms. Perrin, goes to you first. What is the current budget for record digitalization, and are these expenditures efficient use of our tax dollars?
Jim, are you talking about the 2021 budget?
You can go either one, 2021 or 2022 proposed. The way the question was not specific whenever I received it.
Can I cheat?
Absolutely, I would.
So for the budget on 2021, the budget that I pulled up, just to familiarize myself of all of the aspects that come with a county clerk, you know, like software maintenance. The requested budget was $14,525, whereas 2021 budget for software maintenance was $10,025. Is that something we can negotiate? I don't know, because that's not one that I've been privy to those negotiations or that contract. So in going over this, budgeting is so important. Budgeting is key to any business, any position. So, we have a customer repair, a computer repair of 320, where we didn't have that last year. So you have to take that into account. Now, we all know that the prices of pretty much everything is going up, so our 2022 budget would look very different from this. But in saying that, you always have to really negotiate those contracts.
Thank you. Mrs. Jentho.
Okay, so the current budget, I have many budgets. I have the county clerk budget, I have the county clerk records management budget, I have the county clerk archival budget, and I also have the county clerk vital statistics budget. Those fees come from filing different documents, criminal records, probate records in my county. Those are special funds set up by the legislation and that are put in those special accounts. Those are used to, when I redone my general land indexes, that money is set aside to use that. It can be Commissioner's Court. They cannot use it for anything else, but it does take Commissioner's Court approval to use those funds. In my county clerk budget, I have a $38,000 line item, which pays for my indexing services through my land records, does my vitals, software. The $14,000 is simply for our court management software and our Commissioner's Court software. That's all that pays for. And of course, it does increase with inflation each year. Usually they go up typically 3 to 5%. But the digitization, what I do during budget time, I figured out what projects I would like to do, what is fair, and the vision for that is what I do, and then I budget. And then if the Commissioner's Court sees fit, they approve my budget. And so that is where the digitization costs come from, is from those side budgets. County clerks years ago got on board to pass that legislation. It's been very beneficial to us.
Thank you. Final question this evening. Ms. Jentho, you will be first. Are you willing, and how could you, trim the budget at the county clerk office?
Yes, I am always willing to trim the budget at the county clerk's office. Usually the county judge sends out the letter and saying, we would like you to cut 5%, 3%. I go through there past the salaries because I always believe that employees need a cost of living raise. We can trim otherwhere, just make sure you've got to take care of your people in order for them to take care of you. So yes, I am very willing to trim the budget, and we have in the past. The $38,000 that I mentioned earlier, that does not even complete my full year's worth of indexing lease. It's actually about $58,000. So the other part of it, I don't ask the county for. I pay for out of my records management fees. We can always cut down on paper supply. We can, we've done it before. When they cut us very, very short one year, we were trimming paper, cutting paper, making it work. We bring our own pens. We buy our pens from Walmart. Just little stuff like that is where we're able to cut. But in order to get my statutory duties completely done, I only ask for the budgets that are needed. I do not go above and beyond.
Thank you. Ms. Perrin, same question to you.
Well, we can revert back to budgeting 101 as human resource manager and working closely with the store manager of Lowe's Home Improvement. They always say personnel costs, we got to cut there. Well, that's all well and good because most personnel costs start at about 70% of your normal budget, but that's not always the smart place to start. Simply because strategies to avoid is you want to take care of your people. Always, first and foremost, your people will make you or they'll break you. But Budgeting 101, the next one, it tells you, look at your purchases. Always look at vendors and your suppliers. As much as I want to push, let's shop Eastland first, it's our budget. We have to make sure that those purchases are smart. Asset management. A lot of the times the capital projects, that we have, maybe we can look at sharing a piece of equipment or, since I don't work in the courthouse, I know that if one office is not utilizing their copier and they never use their copier, why are we paying for it? Let's always look and see where that vendor sharing, let's always look at the sharing of the resources. That's always, part of the budgeting. One of the things we always said was, take care of your people first. Let's cut off where the fat we don't need. And that normally is stuff laying in a closet that we don't need that we're paying for.
Thank you. You now will both give your closing remarks. Ms. Perrin, you will start. You will have 1 minute.
Okay. I got to use this. Sorry. My time growing up in Eastland County, coupled with my experience traveling and working all around the globe in different environments, has prepared me for this position. I know that from obviously budgeting is where I'm really comfortable. Hiring, training, orientating employees, down to customer service. At the Five Diamond Golf Resort, I taught customer service. I can teach customer service. There's not a person, I would put my customer service skills up against anyone. And if you've ever worked with me at Higginbotham's or at the tax appraisal office, you're going to agree with me.
Thank you. Mrs. Tcole, if you will close this session.
Yes, I have proven myself over the years to be the best county clerk that I have done. I think I've done a really good job. I have the experience that's needed. I've proven myself across the board as a part-time, as a young kid, and much older now throughout the years. I do work closely with other offices, agencies, so I have the proven experience, and I would appreciate your vote for re-election on the March 1st primary.
Thank you. Let's give all these candidates a round of both these candidates a round of applause as they are dismissed and they will return candidates. We need both sheriff candidates to go to the front, please, and meet with Mr. Hayes and Mr. White. Thank you both for being here tonight. We will start with Robin Hayes reading the bio of Rusty Schraeder.
Thank you, Jim. I am Rusty Schraeder. I was born and raised in Eastland County. Rusty, and his wife Beverly enjoy hunting and camping with their family when he is not protecting and serving our neighboring residents in Comanche County. Rusty began his law enforcement career in 1995, and he dedicated 19 plus years to his law enforcement career and 5 years as a business owner. He has completed numerous training hours strictly in law enforcement to enhance his criminal justice knowledge. Rusty is currently working on a bachelor degree in criminal justice through McMurray University in Abilene. The majority of Rusty's law enforcement experience is in county law enforcement. Rusty has worked in almost all positions of a county sheriff's office, to include patrol, investigations, warrants, civil, environmental, and jail operations. Rusty's supervision experience includes senior deputy sheriff, corporal, and sergeant. As sergeant, second in command of a municipal police department, Rusty was responsible for assisting in the development of departmental policies, procedures, and yearly budget. Rusty successfully owned and operated a transportation business for 5 years with a substantial budget for payroll, fuel, and maintenance, staying under budget and maintaining a profit. Rusty firmly believes in the guidance of the Holy Bible and strictly adheres to the United States Constitution and the Law Enforcement Code of Ethics, and he uses all three as guides in his calling as a public servant. Rusty's vision and goals for the Eastland County Sheriff's Office, if elected as sheriff, is to provide fair, equal, unbiased, and impartial law enforcement for all, while maintaining honesty, integrity, and transparency to restore the trust of the public in their law enforcement. Thanks.
Thank you, Robin. Next, we will have Cathy come and read the bio of Jason Weger.
Sheriff Jason Weger has been a peace officer in Eastland County for over 25 years. He has been married to his wife, Christy, for over 23. They have a son named Josh, who just graduated from Cisco College. They are Christians and a member of the Bible Baptist Church in Cisco and are conservative Republican. In 1996, he went to work for the Cisco Police Department, where he worked his way up from a patrolman to sergeant investigator. He oversaw all criminal investigations, regulatory compliance policies, officer training, and school resource programs. After Cisco, he was a security director for an oil field company for a few years. While there, he oversaw all aspects of security for the company, employees, and owners. He supervised multiple security teams throughout the nation and was responsible for security policies and security budgets for the company. During this time, he still held his law enforcement commission and still assisted in multiple criminal investigations throughout Eastland County. He was then asked to come to Bison Star Police Department to serve as an interim chief of police to help out the police department, get them into compliance, and help them find a permanent chief. The city of Ranger then called and asked him to come to be a chief of police, where he was tasked with getting the department into compliance and implementing a complete overhaul of the way the police department conducted business and criminal investigations. He then went to work in Eastland Police Department as a criminal investigator. While at Eastland, he worked all criminal investigations and assisted in supervising and training officers. During these times, he was also licensed through the district attorney's office to be able to assist other county departments with criminal investigations. He was appointed as an administrator for Eastland County Dispatch Center and then was appointed sheriff. During this time in law enforcement, he has been a part of training and supervising dozens of officers and support staff. He has been a part of a multi-million-dollar budget and has had multiple successful audits from the state officers. Over the years, he has assisted with and written grants that include computer systems, networks, software programming, communications towers, vehicles, K-9, and school resource projects. He is a master peace officer and a law enforcement instructor. Over the years, he has also served multiple civic organizations, including Cisco City Council for 3 terms, Cisco Mayor Pro Tem for 3 terms, Cisco Zoning and Board Adjustments as a chairman current, Eastland County Crisis Center and Child Advocacy Center board member and past treasurer current, Eastland County Multiple Disciplinary Team current, Eastland County Sexual Assault Response Team current, Lions Club president and Rotary Club member, Cisco Police Association as president, Eastland County Peace Officer Association as treasurer. Sheriff Weger believed that people should work together for the common good and feel that he has the experience and versatility that it needs to be a sheriff.
Thank you. Before we start, pronounce your last name for me, please.
Weger.
Weger. Okay, I am sorry.
I'll answer whatever they all do.
The name like one, I've heard everything, so I feel your pain. Our introductions, you have 1 minute, and you are the sheriff, correct, right now. So I can address you as sheriff. Mr. Schraeder, how will you want to be addressed? Mr. Schraeder, wonderful. Okay, Sheriff Weger, will you begin with the 1 minute introduction, please?
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to thank everyone for having us here. Everybody's nervous, and you know, it's hard to reduce your life's work into 500 words or less, and it's even harder to sit here and tell you why what all we've been doing for the last 8 months at the sheriff's office in less than a minute. But since we've been there, we've been working with all the communities, all the chiefs. We've been having meetings with everybody. We've been in all the smaller towns. We've been revamping the investigations. We've been revamping the networks. We've been renegotiating contracts. We've been, I'm getting warmed already. We're getting, and we'd like to continue doing that. So I'd appreciate your vote.
Thank you very much, Mr. Schraeder.
My platform as your candidate with honesty, integrity, and transparency remains the same as when I ran as a write-in candidate in the 2020 election, where we garnered historic numbers for a write-in candidate with almost 30% of the actual vote. I am a lawman, and I will serve you as such. I'm very familiar with the workings of law enforcement and the challenges faced in a rural community from 20 years of public service in those communities. If elected as your sheriff, I will provide fair, unbiased, and impartial law enforcement for all. Your sheriff's office will treat everyone the way that you would want to be treated, no matter who you are, where you are from, or what you may have done in the past. I've said many times that I'm guided by 3 things, and I think my time is up.
Thank you. The first question, Mr. Schraeder, you will start this round. What do you believe makes you the best candidate to be the sheriff of Eastland County? You have 2 minutes.
I believe my character makes me the best candidate for Eastland County Sheriff. I'm not part of the establishment, and I never will be. I will treat everybody equally and fairly, no matter who they are. And That's why I'm the best candidate for sheriff. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sheriff Weger.
Well, I've been doing this my whole life in Eastland County. I've been right here the whole time. I've been involved in multiple organizations in this county, a lot of which y'all are here, been a part of with me. I believe that I don't really need this, I don't think, but is it on? Grab the other. How about now? Anyway, I've been here doing it beside you for all these years. I believe in that it's not just law enforcement or the fire department or any one in particular organization, but I believe in being part of the entire community. And that's why I have been part of the community. I don't just talk about it, I'm doing it. I have more training, I have more years of service. I've been a supervisor for years. I've trained dozens of officers. I have several hundred hours more training than my candidate, my opposition. Sorry. I'm not talking bad about them. It's just the facts. That's why I think that I'm a better candidate.
Thank you. Sheriff Weger, this next question goes to you first. What is the current staffing of patrol officers, and is this adequate for our entire county?
Patrol side, there's 13 deputies altogether. Well, there's 13 of us on the sheriff's office side altogether, including myself. There's 5 patrol deputies, and then there's civil and MHMR and all the specialty deputies that have to do all their stuff. No, quite frankly, we all sit here and say we don't have enough people to go around, and 932 square miles for one deputy is a lot. That's why we try to get along with all the other departments. The other departments help us out quite a bit, and we help them out too. We have to help each other out because we're small. They're small, we're small. We all have to work together. That's how we try to supplement some of our stuff, and they supplement some of their stuff. We're a community. They're part of Eastland County. We're part of Eastland County as well. We previously, the deputies went on call at night. Now they're 24/7. We're responding to calls, and our call volume is going up. There's never enough people to go around, but we do what we can to help each other out, and that's the only way we can.
Thank you, Mr. Schraeder. Same question to you. You need me to read it again, or are you good?
No, I don't need you to read it. Thank you, sir. No, current staffing is not adequate. 5 patrol deputies for 932 square miles is not working. Something needs to change. The commissioners need to be, talk to the commissioners about getting more people, maybe some restructuring within the sheriff's office to where there's more patrol deputies and less admin staff. I don't know. I have to look at it and see, because I'm not in that department. But for 932 square miles, for 5 patrol deputies is not enough. You cannot cover the entire county adequately and provide the best public safety for the county with 1 deputy on for 932 square miles. And the only way to change that is to work with the commissioners and try to get more deputies, more funding. And if that means cutting the budget somewhere else, which I know, Mr. Weger, your budget is pretty bare bones now as it is. But something's got to be done to get more deputies on the street.
Thank you. Mr. Schraeder, you're first up on question 3. What changes do you plan to implement in the sheriff's office and county jail?
Service. I talk to people and I get contacted constantly by victims who don't feel that they're getting the service required from their sheriff's office. And then when they do talk to somebody at the sheriff's office, they're treated rudely. As public servants, we need to treat everybody fairly, everybody equally. That's one of the things that I would change, is the way that victims, complainants, or anybody else is treated that comes into that sheriff's office. In the county jail, that's kind of tough. That's the biggest headache for any sheriff's office, is the county jail. Not knowing what is going on in the county jail, I can't adequately answer that question because, like I said, I'm not in that department. But service is the first thing that needs to change. Thank you.
Thank you. Sheriff Weger, the same question to you, and we asked this because you've only been on the job 8 months, and I know you're analyzing and seeing things, so this is why the same question goes to you.
Sure, guys. I've gone in and restructured Ranger before. I've gone in with Chief Hullum and restructured Eastland before. I've restructured Rise Star. There's no way that it's going to be done in 8 months. I expected a year and a half just to get a grasp. There's a lot to it. They have the 25% of the budget. I mean, there's so much people in and out in the jail and all that. But what changes? Man, we've been making changes. We're already full steam ahead. We have restructured. We're trying to spread the workload some. Instead of 1 or 2 people having a lot to do and a couple not having a lot to do, trying to equal it up a little bit. One of the things we've done is we've trained the jailers to be armed guards, so they can do transports. That's a big part of what we do. We have to go transport everybody from all these facilities around the nation. They can also guard and do inmates. We've been restructuring the network and how we communicate and how we communicate with each other and how we report everything. The sheriff's office uses an old DOS-based system right now, which is not adequate for 2022. There's so many reportings that we have to do that we're changing the way our network's structured to make us more efficient, to make the deputies where they can do their stuff easier and be out in the field more. Sorry. Come talk to me about it.
The next question, we'll start with Sheriff Weger again. Do you currently hold a jailer's license from Tcole? And what experience do you bring to the position of sheriff? And this is mainly talking about the jail portion of your job.
I do have a jailer's license. Honestly, I just got it. That was one of the first things I did. If I'm going to be in charge of the jail, I need to have the license to do it. So I did get my jailer's license. I also got my court security license. I'm in charge of the courthouse too, or the security of it. What experience do I bring? I don't bring much experience to the jail. Quite frankly, my 25 years has been getting the warrants on people and taking them to the jail and dropping them off. And apparently there's a whole bunch of stuff that happens after that I'm learning to do as we speak. So I don't have much experience. I've gained a lot of experience in the last 8 months. That jail is a daily issue. There's always a daily issue out back there with inmates, MHMR, and you name it that goes on. Everybody breaking stuff, replacing stuff. I mean, it's a constant thing that we could talk about the rest of the night. So, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Schraeder, same question to you, sir.
Well, like I said, the jail is the biggest headache for any sheriff's office. I have an intermediate jailer's license and 4 years experience as a jailer. I've done jail classifications, anything from booking to housing the inmates to watching over the inmates. And that's experience that I bring to the jail. I can step in and work a jail shift without any problems because I know what jail standards requires from that experience of being in the jail. And jail standards does require a lot. And in Sheriff Weger's defense, he hasn't done this very much. He has been an officer on the streets and not in the jail. But I do have more experience in the jail, and I know how to operate one. Thank you very much.
Thank you. This will be the final question for you two candidates this evening. If ordered by and Mr. Schraeder, you were first. If ordered by the feds to lock down businesses or confiscate guns, what will you do?
Well, the sheriff is the chief law enforcement officer of the county. There will be no feds coming in to lock down businesses or confiscate guns, period. Any fed that does come to the county trying to do that will be politely asked to leave. By that means, they'll be transported to the county line and they can find another way to get their car. That's what will happen if the feds come to confiscate our guns or lock down any businesses. This is Texas. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Sheriff Weger.
I'm a big supporter of the Second Amendment and everybody's right to bear arms and defend themselves. And I'm a lifetime member of the Texas State Rifle Association. I believe in constitutional carry. I'm one of those rare law enforcement officers that thinks everybody should have a gun. With training, learn to use it. But the feds coming in here, no, we're not going to do that. I'm not going to enforce any kind of federal mandate. We're not going to confiscate guns because they've been confiscating all mine and they ain't going to get them. So, no, not going to happen. Don't have to worry about it. Easy answer. Not going to happen.
You will both now have 1 minute for closing remarks. We will start with Sheriff Weger.
Guys, I've got a lot of experience, and I've got 8 months under my belt, and it's not going to change overnight. It's not going to be there, but we are full steam ahead to do it. We've been implementing changes. We've been renegotiating. We've been working on the budget. We've been trying to bring in grants. We brought in $70,000 to the sheriff's office in 8 months just from grants. Brought in over $205,000 to dispatch in the last year. I just applied for another $200,000. We're working on it. We want to save you guys money. It's my money too. I'm a property owner. I pay taxes. I have a vested interest in this community. I have a vested interest in the sheriff's office. I'll work hard for you. I've been working hard for you. I'll continue to work hard for you. And I would appreciate your vote.
Thank you, Mr. Schraeder. If you will wrap us up.
Folks, anybody can make themselves look good on paper. Doesn't mean it's always true. It takes more to be a good public servant than pinning on our badges. It takes something from the heart, a true desire from the heart to serve everyone over yourselves or a select few. I am that person. I have that true desire in my heart. Serving as a peacekeeper is not a job for me, it's a calling. And I will serve everyone equally. I sincerely want to serve you as your public servant. I humbly ask for your support on March the 1st and hope and pray that you will stand with me, choosing Rusty Schraeder as your sheriff. Together, we will make a difference. Thank you for your time and God bless.
Thank you all both very much. At this time, we will let y'all step down and we will bring in the two county judge candidates and they will meet with Mr. White and Mr. Hayes. Thank you both for being here. We will start with Nancy Stewart reading the bio from Loretta Key, or Mrs. Key, or how would you prefer?
Mrs. Key is fine.
Mr. Hullum?
Mr. or Chief, it doesn't matter. Jim.
Chief Hullum.
Whatever you want to do.
All right.
Loretta Key is candidate for Eastland County Judge. She has served Eastland County residents for the past 19 years, 2 years as elected district clerk and 17 years as appointed county auditor. Loretta and her husband Steve moved from the Austin area to Eastland County in 1995. Steve grew up in Eastland County. His parents are Laverne Key and the late M.G. Key. Steve and Loretta chose to raise their 2 children, Heather and Cody, here because Eastland County is a wonderful place to live, raise children, and retire. Loretta and Steve are members of the Lake Leon Baptist Church. Loretta has a Bachelor of Business Administration degree in accounting from Texas State University. Last year, she earned the High Performance Leadership Master's Certificate from Professional Development Academy through National Association of Counties. She will also complete the Texas Association of Counties Leadership Training in April. This is Loretta's 6th year serving on the Texas Association of County Auditors Board of Directors. She was Small County Representative for 3 years and currently holds the position of Vice President on the Executive Board. Loretta Key was honored with the 2019 Texas Association of Counties Jerry Ware Leadership Award. Texas Association of Counties presented her with the Making a Difference in County Government Award last year. Loretta has served on several community boards and committees. She was the first Eastland Rotary Club Builders Award recipient. Loretta Key served 2 years as elected district clerk of the 91st Judicial District Court. She was present in court hearings and gained knowledge of court procedures. She was appointed county auditor by the 91st Judicial District Judge Stephen Harry in January of 2003. Loretta has knowledge of county business. She has been present in over 350 Commissioners Court meetings during her 17 years as county auditor. She assisted Commissioners Court preparing the last 17 budgets. Loretta has valuable knowledge and proven experience estimating revenue sources and projecting expenditures necessary to run Eastland County government. She has oversight authority of the adopted budget to ensure money is received and expended in compliance with Texas laws. As county auditor, Loretta Key is the fiscal officer of the county with oversight responsibility of all financial books and records of all county offices. She has researched laws that apply to Texas county government. She works with all county departments and has established relationships with officials and department heads. Loretta has working knowledge of the financial responsibility for the federal and state grants the county has received. She has been the county investment officer for 17 years. Other administrative duties assigned to her current position include maintaining property, liability, and employee health insurance coverages, as well as human resources.
Thank you. At this time, Frank Bussey will come and read the bio of David Hullum, please.
Thank you. I am Frank Bussey. I'm going to do my best to introduce David to you with excerpts from his extensive bio. He's a husband, father of 5 children, Christian, career lowerman for 35 years, a conservative Republican. He started as a deputy sheriff in East Texas. He worked for the U.S. Border Patrol, Department of Public Safety, retired as Texas Ranger for Eastland County, went back to work in the corporate world as a security, and then he came back to Eastland County and went to work for the district attorney as a criminal investigator in charge of narcotics unit. He became the chief of police for the city of Eastland in 2016, and he still holds that position. Because of his extensive time in service, he has about 4,000 hours of continuing education encompassing law enforcement and emergency management. The county judge is over emergency management for the county. The chief of police is over the emergency management for the city of Eastland, and as chief of police, he has experience in emergency management. I'm going to say this off the cuff, folks. This is probably the most important race we have as a member living in Eastland County, because the county judge and the 4 commissioners in every county of the state of Texas handles the budget for the county. Now, a lot of people think the poor little commissioners don't do nothing but grade roads, but they control your money, folks. Okay, he is experienced with budgets in the Oilfield Service Company, the Eastland Police Department, and the Eastland Independent School District, where he's the president of the board. He has extensive experience supervising people, projects, civilian, law enforcement. He submitted grants to the Eastland Police Department. Some of his core beliefs: he has a conservative judicial philosophy. A judge should never legislate from the bench, and punishment should always fit the crime. A judge should be impartial, fair, honest, compassionate. A county judge should be a leader and have a vision for the future. He is guided by his faith. He has worked in civic organizations with Eastland Youth Baseball, Eastland Youth Football, Eastland Independent School Board. And he's a member of the State Major Crime Assessment Committee, Region 6 Director currently. He also works with the Eastland County Crisis Center. He's a board member. He asks for your prayers and support in this campaign. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bussey. We will have a 1-minute introduction by each of you. Our Chief Hullum, you will go first.
You know, this election is about 4 things. It's about the budget, it's about administration, it's about emergency management, and it's about the judicial system, the courts. I think with the bio that you read and not going back over it, I think I check all 4 boxes. I'm a career lawman. I know what the law is. I can go into court day one and function. The budget, I oversee a multi-million-dollar budget over at the Eastland School District. You know, I have extensive experience in the section of emergency management, from flooding, from the pandemic, from all of that, including hours to train. But I have real-world experience on those applications. And I think that's important as all get at. So thank you. I appreciate your vote.
Thank you. This is Steve. You have 1 minute.
My family moved to Eastland County to raise our family here. We had 2 young children and wanted to be closer to my husband's parents. Some of you know me personally. Some of you may know the family I was blessed to marry into. And what you may not know is how I was raised. My parents taught us the importance of Christian faith, family, hard work, and good education. These are basic values I hold today. And I'm so glad to live in a county that supports those values.
Whether you're a young family trying to raise your family, or retired and living on savings, you work hard to earn, the value of the money you earned is decreasing. Taxpayers of this county deserve to have government that understands the burden on those taxpayers. We need to creatively come together to find alternatives. Thank you.
We'll begin with question one. Mrs. Key, you will start. What makes you the best candidate for our Eastland County judge?
My 17 years of administrative experience with the county makes me the best candidate. Yes, there is a judicial side. Neither my opponent or I has sat in a county judge's seat. There's an emergency management side. I've worked with FEMA through the 2005 fire, the 2007 flood, the 2015 and 16 flood, and we're still working with FEMA and the Office of the Governor. Budget, I don't just help prepare the budget, my office compiles the budget. We have $18-19 million budget right now. I have oversight of that budget. My experience in county government is different than city and state government, and I have researched laws that apply to county government for years.
Thank you. Chief Hullum.
Well, thank you. Loretta's a fine lady and she's a great auditor. Why do I think I'm a better candidate for county judge? For one thing, on the emergency management side, that's we've got a cold weather event coming up Wednesday and Thursday. If you haven't looked at your phone, it's coming up, and we're fixing to have ice and snow, and depending on which app you look at, we don't know how bad it's going to be. But the city of Eastland, specifically the Eastland Police Department, has got meals, cots, blankets, and water staged. That didn't just happen. That was hands-on by me, contacting the state to get those resources brought here. There's a difference between overseeing a budget and actually getting your hands dirty and getting what you need. As far as I wasn't a county employee for 4 years because I was a deputy up in Longview and I was a patrol captain. I supervised 28 people. I know how county government works, and government is government. That's the end of the deal. We are your servants. We answer to you as the voters. And I believe that I bring a set of experience from the county, from the municipal, from the state, and actually from the federal government. Being the U.S. Border Patrolman, I bring experience to this job that I don't believe my opponent does. But I say that in a nice way because she's a nice lady. Thank you.
Thank you. Chief Hullum, second question to you. What do you see as the single most important role of the county judge? We've discussed several. What's the single most important role and why?
Thank you, Jim. I will tell you this. The county judge wears a whole bunch of hats, all right? But the judicial code of conduct for the state of Texas says this: the judicial duties of a judge are the most important thing that he does. And you know why? Because you're dealing with people's constitutional rights. We want to sit there and say, well, the judge only does this much court or that much court. But when you're standing in front of that judge, that's pretty important. And it's pretty important to have somebody that knows what the law is, knows what a good case is supposed to look like, and has got the backbone to stand there and potentially buck the DA's office and say, no, I don't agree with that. You're overruled. Because being a judge is being a judge and being somebody that's fair. That's the first thing a judge has to be, and that's also what you expect us. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Keith, what do you see as the single most important role of the county judge?
I believe the most important role of the county judge is to represent the people that elected the county judge. Yes, the judicial code of conduct does say the judicial duties are most important and that administrative duties are second. I am not law enforcement. I don't have a law enforcement background. I do not know anything about any case that will come before me. I will not need to be recused in cases because I have knowledge. I believe that the administrative side is strong. And yes, judicial is probably a little over 40%, but it does take precedence.
Thank you. Mrs. Key, you will start with question 3. And this is both of you now have shown, and we've seen and heard, have been head of government departments. In these positions, have either one of you ever cut your budget? And if so, how did you do this and by what percentage?
Yes, I cut my budget. I can't tell you the percentage. And Eastland County is a service business. 45% of our budgets, our tax-supported budgets, are payroll. So my payroll budget has stayed the same. But I have cut other items in my budget to accommodate lessening the budget burden.
Thank you. Chief Hullum.
Well, I don't know that I cut the budget as much as the city manager cut my budget. Because everything's going up, and you know that. I mean, when you go to the gas station, you're paying a lot more for gas. When you go to the grocery store, you're paying a lot more for eggs and sausage and just trying to get stuff to make ends meet. I can tell you that we are very, very conscious about how we spend your money for the city of Eastland. I recently applied for, actually with the help from, wasn't Sheriff Weger back then, but Jason and I put together a grant for $47,000 to replace the aging computers that we had. We use computers all the time. We have to use them in our patrol cars, and we have to use them also to write reports in our office. So I have consistently looked for, and I hate saying this because it's not really free money, but it's free money that it doesn't cost you as a taxpayer specifically. We're getting it from the government, and I'm going to tell you there's a whole lot of strings that come with it, but I'm proud to say that that's the way we're trying to lessen the tax burden on you as the voters. Thank you.
Thank you. Chief Hullum, the next question you will begin answering. The courthouse closes down often for various reasons. As taxpayers, we witness this on our travels to work. How will you handle the number of days missed at the expense of the taxpayers and your voters?
Okay, you're talking about the ice days or whatever. I'm assuming that's what that is. The thing you need to understand about the county judge is that the county clerk, the county auditor, none of these people work directly for the county judge. Each one of those has a department head. The district attorney is a department head. The district clerk. All of these are department heads, and me as the county judge, I would like to see a more efficient use of our manpower. For one thing, I'd like to see a system that notifies somebody if they're coming from Rising Star to get the plates for their car, that they know ahead of time that the courthouse is potentially closed. But I'll tell you this, with the weather that we're fixing to have come up Wednesday and Thursday, I don't know if I want your wife on the road, or your brother, or your grandmother, or whoever, so I'd like to work with the department heads and see if there's something we can do to make sure that we're being responsive to your needs, because we are a service industry. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Key.
One of the considerations in closing the courthouse for weather is the courthouse employees don't all work in Eastland. They don't just travel a few blocks to work. We have employees that live at the far end of Rising Star. We have employees that live in Gorman. And it's the safety of constituents getting to the courthouse also. So the decision is made based on conditions in the county. And as county judge, I will consider carefully whether to close the courthouse or not. We don't close for non-emergency occasions. So I would be very, very thoughtful of the people coming to the courthouse, the people that are paying our salaries.
Thank you. Next, Mrs. Key, you can start us on question 5. How do you plan to protect Eastland County citizens from the overreach of the government?
One of the things I do right now in my Texas Association of County Auditors is watch legislation. I am the law study chair. We don't want the government reaching into county government. Federal government needs to tend to federal government, and state government needs to tend to state government. We are the grassroots. We're on the ground. We live and work with the people we represent, and we see them in church, we see them in the grocery store. So my idea is to keep county government here. And I've been helping to not get the state government to tell us how to do our jobs.
Thank you. Chief Hullum.
Well, I'll tell you what, the federal government's got no business in Eastland County, I can tell you that. I mean, that just aggravates the snot out of me. And I apologize if I don't sound like a politician, but if I ever start sounding like one, please come up there and kick me square in the butt. All right? One of the things that we can do, and we had the folks running for state representative here, is that as the Eastland County judge, you carry a little bit of a stick being the county judge. And I guarantee you, if we start seeing that kind of overreach, I'm going to be on the doorstep of the U.S. Congressman for this district. I'm going to be on the doorstep in Austin talking to my state representative, and I'm going to be raising Cain every time we see that. But we cannot, we have to draw a line somewhere. And we keep drawing a line and we keep moving it back. And we keep moving it back. That's not right, folks. And your job is to elect somebody like me that's going to stand up and say, no more. Thank you.
Thank you both. The final question, Chief Hullum, you will start this, and this is a repetitive question, but we are concerned. If ordered by the feds to lock down businesses or to confiscate guns, what will you do as the chief, highest ranking officer in our county?
Well, I've got to remember that I'm in church because I'm thinking of something that probably I shouldn't say out loud. But it'll be a cold day and you know where before I ever consent to that. I've worked with agencies. I've been a policeman all my life. And I think I speak for them. And I don't know any police officer in this county that would sit idly by while that happened. I guarantee you, if there's a way to pass a county-wide ordinance, if there's a way to pass a county law, if there's a way for me to chain myself in front of the courthouse, by gosh, I'm going to do that. Because I'm not going to let that happen. These are our rights, our inalienable rights. And nobody except God Almighty has got the ability to come in there and take a right away from me. Amen. Period. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Key.
Yes, and I'm going to look at the question again. If the federal government came in to confiscate guns, they'd have to find mine first. believe in the Constitution and the right to keep and bear arms. I believe the federal government does not have the right to walk into our homes and our businesses and close us down. You've heard law enforcement say they would not stand for that either. And that is our guard against the government. Yes, we need to go to our lawmakers and talk to them. That's where it would start. The county does not make laws. The county does not have ordinance authority. The county only can adopt resolutions and make rules and policies. So we would have to go up the stream and we would have to stand firmly that no, that's not going to happen in this county.
Thank you. We will now have closing remarks. You have 1 minute. Mrs. Key, you have the lead.
Okay, as I've said, neither my opponent nor I know what it's like to sit in the county judge's seat. Neither of us has judicial experience. We both know the basic duties and responsibilities of a county judge. It's up to the voters of this county to decide whose experience and qualifications will best suit that position. County government is different than city and state government, and I work closely with the county judge, the commissioners, and all the elected officials to make county government work for you. I will work as hard for you as county judge as I have as county auditor. I respectfully ask that you let me bring that experience to the county judge position and ask for your vote at the primary. Thank you.
Thank you. Chief Hullum, you have 1 minute.
Well, I want to thank River of Life and Jerry Maston for hosting this today, because this is an opportunity for us to get to talk to you, and hopefully after this is over, you can come out and talk to us personally. But I'll tell you this, I go back to the same thing I started with. This position is about budget, administration, emergency management, and the courts. And I feel like I check all 4 of those boxes, not just because I've been a lawman for all those years. The one thing that we haven't talked about, and I'm going to take this opportunity to talk about it now, is that 100% of the time, the county judge has to have good judgment, regardless of what the situation is, whether it's the budget, whether it's an emergency management situation, whether it's showing compassion in the courtroom setting. I can be fair because I've been fair my entire career. You can ask people that I sent to the penitentiary when I was a Texas Ranger. I didn't like that son of a gun, but he was fair and he was honest with me. And that's what I'm going to be as your county judge, and I appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Thank you both. At this time, we will dismiss y'all, and we have, Robin has an announcement. We have 1 candidate here that we're going to give 5 minutes just to talk.
Mr. John Spear and his wife Dana, they have been traveling quite a lot today, made several stops, and you can go ahead and come on up, John. Anyway, yes, we are going to give him 5 minutes, and he is the only one from his race here this evening, and we appreciate him stopping by, because I know probably most all of you don't know him. Thank you.
Everybody, I'm John Spires. I'm running to be your next Texas Land Commissioner. There are 2 questions people often ask me. Number 1 is, what exactly does a land commissioner do? And number 2 is, who the heck are you? I'm Dr. John Spires. I dreamed of being a heart surgeon years ago because I wanted to serve people. And I thought that I would be able to serve people as a heart surgeon for the rest of my life. I went to Houston, Texas, trained with Dr. Michael DeBakey. It was the most exciting thing I'd ever done. And I went out in the world, a young man who served in the Army Reserve as a surgeon, who served as a general surgeon, who'd done lab work to make our soldiers and sailors and airmen safer. And now I've become a heart surgeon. I got hurt. Let me tell you a secret. Nobody wants a one-handed heart surgeon. When you lose the sensation in your hand, no matter how good you might have thought you were, you need to start over. What do Texans do when they're dealt with adversity? They get up, they dust their backside off, and they start over. I went to law school. One of the questions that was asked earlier was about government overreach. I know about government overreach. I've been fighting government overreach for years. I've been representing people that didn't have two nickels to rub together. And I've worked with folks that had their life and liberty at stake. I've helped folks build businesses. And right now, I've been working to bring industry back to the state of Texas because we never need to depend on China to make goods for the people of Texas. You see, I view the job of land commissioner the way you might look at a pyramid. Now you say, oh, you're talking about a pyramid that the point's at the top. That's wrong. The point's at the bottom. Turn it over. When you're the land commissioner, you shoulder the burden. You take care of the hard jobs that other people are not accustomed to doing. And that is what I want to do for you. The land office manages 13 million acres of land. Just so you know, that is 8 times the size of this little sample state out east called Delaware, where some guy called Biden. 8 times, 13 million acres. And we use that to fund the permanent school fund to help your schools. We want to see good, solid schools built. We work with the State Board of Education. And one of the things we're going to do when we work with the State Board of Education is insist that the money that we make does not go for critical race theory. It does not go for water parks. It goes to help our children become better citizens for the future, because that's what we must do. The land office also serves our veterans. We have 3 critical roles for our veterans. We manage veteran cemeteries, and you may have heard the land office got some hot water because someone in the current land office said we spent too much money on that. Honoring the men and women who give their lives, risk their lives, so that we can be free, I got plenty of money for that. We take care of veterans in their later years in our veterans care homes. As a doctor who's dealt with Health and Human Services, who's worked in the VA system for years, and as a lawyer who sued them, I can tell you, I'm equipped to manage those. Now, when it comes to making loans to veterans, we have a program here in Texas that you may never have heard of, even if you are a veteran. It's our Veterans Land Board. It makes loans available to veterans to purchase their homes, to remodel their homes. We make special land sales to veterans. We've not done a great job of that. We need to make it competitive to serve the men and women that have served us. We help with disaster recovery. I was just listening about disaster recovery. And if I recall, I think there were several $1 million that were sent this way for the dam. The land office is supposed to make it easy for you to get that money. We're supposed to make it easy for you to recover. On my watch, we're going to make it a lot easier. I'm going to be your advocate, not your adversary. But there's another issue that we've got to address, and I am already working on this with law enforcement officers all around the state, and I've actually been praised by some of them because I actually show up. We have to deal with our southern border. We have 591,000 acres on the southern border. I will work every day to make you safe. I will make a safer and stronger Texas. I want to be your servant leader. The last thing I want to do is ask if there's anybody in the audience that can suggest a great place to get an oil change. Because I rolled into the lot with a light on my dashboard lit up saying, you need to change the oil again. You're driving this truck into the ground as you travel around Texas, talking to good people just like you folks here. I'm John Spires. I'm running to be your next land commissioner. I'd appreciate your vote and support, folks. Thank you. Please see me in the lobby. Love to answer your questions. This is a great event, y'all. Thank you so much.
So somebody couldn't wait to see Gammy. So now we're almost finished. But our current district attorney, Brad Stevenson, asked if he could come and talk with y'all for 2 minutes. And right after that, Wayne Bradford, our previous sheriff, please come up and close us with prayer.
Robin just told one small lie. An attorney can't say hi in 2 minutes. I'm Brad Stevenson, and I'm the luckiest person that's been on this platform today because I'm the only guy up here who does not have an opponent. So I'm awfully relaxed tonight. Guys, we got a great slate of candidates. It's an honor for me to be serving as the 91st Judicial District Attorney. Quite frankly, I'm filling some real big shoes, but I've had a little experience with that. In 1998, I was elected the first Republican, and I say that with respect, Cathy, because you were on the same ticket, and I believe Marty Heiser was too, but I was on the top of the ticket. I was the first Republican ever elected to a county office in Eastland County. Prior to that time, there had never been a dog catcher elected as a Republican in Eastland County. Russ Thomason has been our elected district attorney for 18 years, and he's developed one heck of a reputation as a tenacious prosecutor. He's been a zealous advocate for law enforcement, and we intend to do the same thing. I want to real quickly introduce Brenda Vickers. Brenda, stand up.
I didn't know to do that.
Brenda Miller back there behind her. I don't believe Paul's here tonight, but we've got a couple of small things, and you know, Joe, you can hold those signs up all you want to. I've ignored you before. There's a couple things. I want to take issue with one thing with that Mr. Schraeder said. The sheriff, Sheriff Weger, is not the chief law attorney. He's to see that justice is done. He's to stand in between the county judge and the district judge, the sheriff's department, and every law enforcement official, and be sure that justice is done. Support law enforcement all the time. No question about it. But be sure it's done right, properly, and fairly. And that's one of the promises that I'm going to make to you, that you, the people of Eastland County, will see that justice is done in this administration. One other thing I want to point out, particularly to the federal and state representatives and candidates that were here, something that I learned a long time ago, and I believed a long time about politics, is if we're going to change politics in the United States, you got to understand that politics is about service. It's an honor to have a position, an elected position, for your fellow citizens in a small county or in the state of Texas to have enough confidence in you to vote for you, to put you into an office for a period of time. I've always been an advocate for term limitations. And until such time as we have term limitations, we're not going to change government in a substantial way.
Thank you.
I'm nearly Thank you very much, folks.
This is what y'all are all been looking for. Let's all join in a word of prayer to end our evening. Most gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time you've given us to come together. Lord, you've given us this wonderful, incredible country where we can freely get together. We can debate the issues. We can look at the questions. All of these things, and the candidates can sit here and say whether or not they believe that you're Lord and Savior. All because of this wonderful country that you gave us, Lord. You gave us, no one else. Men have fought and died for it, but it was created by you, Lord. We thank you. Dear Lord, we've heard the words tonight from our various candidates, and we ask one thing upon you, dear Lord. We ask that you let your Spirit descend upon us in such a powerful way and give us the discernment that we need to determine which of these candidates is the one that you put forward. Lord, we've been praying and praying, asking that you raise up good, strong Christian candidates. And Lord, I believe you've done just that. Help us to know who they are. And Lord, we ask that you receive the glory for the time when they receive that office, dear Lord. And then help us to stand beside them and behind them every step of the way. Be with us now as we go our separate ways. Give us safe passage home.
Thank you, Lord, for allowing us the privilege of serving you. In Christ Jesus' most holy and precious name we pray. Amen.
Amen. The sheriffs, they were